For this week's video, I wanted to talk about Box Day's social sexual hierarchy, the male social sexual hierarchy. It's hard to say that. He created it about 10 years ago, I think in 2016. It actually kind of took off pretty good with the Sigma thing. If you've seen the internet, you've seen the whole Sigma male thing. It came from his model, and I wanted to discuss his model 10 years later, now that we can kind of see how it worked out, how it applies. Was it correct? Was it false? And there's two variables that stick out to me big time in his model, and I'm gonna use the map versus territory to analyze his model, because his model is basically a map, right? The social sexual hierarchy. I have trouble saying that. Is basically a map that he made to map onto male hierarchy, male behavior, male archetypes. And when you'd apply it to the territory now, 10 years later, we can see what he got right and what he got wrong. And I want to start with with what he got right. His to me, his crown achievement, his perfect assessment is the gamma male. That he got so on the money, it's insane. That right there, he definitely picture perfect, damn right. The archetype is set, it's right on the money. The gamma male is a real archetype. I see it in every job I've ever had, especially like in the office job. They're there. In every job, they're there. The secret king, he's obsessed with the hierarchy. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room. He looks down on everybody, despises alphas, despises anybody smarter than him, better than him. That archetype, man, Vox Day nailed it, right? Nailed it. There's not much to go into about that one because his assessment is right on the money. The one I think he got wrong is the Sigma male. I think he went, maybe not him so much, he kind of just did a basic model, but the internet ran with the Sigma male thing pretty hard for the last 10 years. I mean, it has its waves of popularity, and then it kind of will forget about it, and then the next generation or the next few guys in the age bracket find it, and then it kind of blows up again a little bit. Yeah, that one didn't make sense to me. That one's like a movie character. It's that's not If we apply the model to reality, to the territory, the map to the territory, we see that the Sigma male isn't this alpha that doesn't want to be an alpha. That kind of violates the law of identity, right? I'm gonna take like a philosophical, logical uh, uh, breakdown of this archetype, right? Looking at the world, I hardly see any alphas because I'm not in that world of like the alpha. His environment is kind of, it goes along with being an alpha, right? If there's an alpha as a truck driver, it's pretty pointless. Then he's not an alpha of anything, right? If there's an alpha in the office, unless he's in the boardroom, he's the top level, then he's not really an alpha of the office, because the office doesn't really need an alpha, right? The alpha is needed in the military and police, firefighters, sports, coaching, football. That's where the alpha is. If you're an alpha, you're going to be there because you're a high stakes guy. The environment basically dictates you being an alpha. You need a hierarchy. You need high stakes. You need people to fall in line and lead. You need to be challenged. Like you need those things. So for that archetype to be Sigma, to say no, I don't want it, then he's not an alpha. Then that he can't be an alpha. That's just doesn't want to be an alpha. That's not how it works. That's not. I don't see that anywhere besides in movies. The big comparison would be Patrick Bateman or John Wick, and if I mean those are caricatures. If those people were real, they would be psychopaths, right? Patrick Bateman's not a Sigma; he's a psychopath. Like he's funny. I mean, I like some of the Sigma memes that they're kind of funny, but that's not what an actual Sigma would be, right? If you look at it logically and you take the criteria of what's a Sigma, self-reliant man, independent, uh, doesn't want to be part of the hierarchy, right? That's basically the main criteria. Doesn't want to be part of the hierarchy, self-reliant, independence. So he would have to be smart. He would have to be. He's probably the best at looking at the hierarchy because he actively avoids them, right? Where the deltas and the betas and the gammas and the alphas, they don't even know they're in a hierarchy. That's their environment. That's so they choose to be in those environments. The Sigma chooses to be outside of those environments. So he would choose a job like independent contractor, uh, jobs where he's alone because he doesn't want to be in the hierarchy, right? A truck driver. I don't know what other. Think of what other jobs there you are when you're independent, right? Entrepreneur, businessman of his own business, owner operators of their own businesses, freelance stuff, artists, right? People that don't want to be in hierarchies would be Sigma. And those people, there's way more of those than there are alphas that I see, right? Because the alphas they're in specific places. The firefighters, the police force, the military, sports, right? And the Sigma is not in those places, right? So the Sigma would be more of an average looking man. He's not an alpha that doesn't want to be an alpha. He's an introverted, very smart guy that recognizes, that sees basically the hierarchy and chooses not to be a part of it. He likes to be alone. That's not John Wick, right? John Wick's a movie character, an assassin that wears expensive suit, right? Right in an impossible world of a dark novel, right? Like it's just ridiculous to kind of make him the poster child or Patrick Bateman of Sigmas. That's completely so far fetched and not even close to reality. And there is a Sigma in reality, and he's the guy that he doesn't want to stick out, right? He doesn't have the alpha hardware. I'm not saying he's bad looking, but he would rather blend in because blend in is a camouflage. He doesn't want to stick out. He doesn't want to be bothered. He doesn't want to be involved in people's talk, gossip, whatever, all that stuff. He'd rather blend in. He's probably quiet. People think he's weird or introverted. He doesn't talk much, but in reality, he's very smart. I would say he's smarter than the Gamma because the Gamma is obsessed. The Gamma is smart, but their obsession and narcissism and their shady freaking behaviors, their covert narcissism is a big fault. To me, that's not an intelligent in any way. Intelligence would be not to be those things. To control your narcissism, to control your covert narcissism, to control your passive aggressiveness. That would be smart, right? But there's a different kind of smart. They're smart and cunning in a weird, selfish, terrible way. Well, the Sigma can recognize those people probably better than anybody because he looks for hierarchies and avoids them, so he can spot them better because he knows what they look like. When you're in, when your type is hierarchy based, that your environment relies on it, you don't even know you're in the environment of being in a hierarchy. That's what you do, right? That's what the alpha does. The alpha doesn't think, oh, I'm an alpha, what should I do? He naturally goes to leadership. He naturally goes to hierarchy where there's drawn lines, there's specific roles for people, there's the structure. The gamma could be in any job site, in any workplace, and he is going to try to subvert the whole thing. So there's definitely a lot of gammas because they're everywhere. Alphas are not everywhere. Alphas are they're in specific high stakes structured places. The sigma, he could be everywhere too, right? He could work everywhere also because sometimes you have to work a job you don't want to work sometimes. But a good sigma is going to try to find a way out of the whole structure and make his own structure. But yeah, I would say the sigma is not doesn't look like an alpha. I mean, he can, but generally, it's not gonna. By the law of averages, there's no way there's that many alphas that want to be sigmas or whatever. No, he's gonna look pretty average. He's gonna be very intelligent, but not in a normie way. Not he has probably like a specific thing he's good at that he does for money. Um, like I said, looking normal is probably a camouflage to him. He doesn't want to stand out. Avoids hierarchies, but can recognize them better than anyone. And that's definitely way more average than um, than I wouldn't say the gamma. I would guess the gamma is more average. There's more gammas than sigmas, I would say, but I'm not 100% sure. But the sigma is more prevalent than people realize. It's like I said, it's an introverted guy that values his independence and actively seeks out environments that are not hierarchical because he doesn't want to be in the hierarchy. He doesn't need an alpha. He doesn't want an alpha. He doesn't want to be around gammas. He doesn't really want to be a delta. But he could definitely be all those things if needed. But he chooses not to because he thinks it's dumb. That's what a sigma would be. But yeah, Vox Day did a good job. Um, to me, his crown achievement is the gamma male, but somehow the sigma male took off, and I think everybody got it way wrong. They he became this Patrick Bateman, Bruce Wayne caricature that doesn't exist in reality, really. And even if it did, it'd be such a small percentage of humanity that it wouldn't even. There's no archetype for it because it's such a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage. An archetype needs a grouping, a percentage, a set of people to make it an archetype. Yeah, that's what I wanted to break down. Let me know what you think in the comments and like and subscribe.